Hello guys, it's Dee here, and today we're making this beautiful diagonal top. I love the details, I love the look of it, I love how it turned out. So I hope you'll feel the same way about it as much as I do. So making this top is pretty simple. It's made diagonally, so what we do is increase on one side and make decreases on the other, and I'm going to be showing you how I did that. And once we're done doing that, we're just going to fold it like so. Just simple like that. Then we'll join the center, and then I'll be showing you the rest. So I'll show you how to do it. Just keep watching, okay? Let's get into the details. The yarn I'm using today is Red Hat Super Saver. It's a 4 medium weight yarn. It recommends a 5.5 millimeter hook, but I'll be using a 5.0 millimeter hook, which is an H8 hook. Okay, so to get started, you're going to make a slip knot. And then you're going to insert your hook and you're going to make a chain. I'm going to chain 50 plus 2, and that is how long my top is going to be. It's going to be 11.5 inches long. So if you want it longer, make more chains. If you want it short, make less chains. Once you're done making your foundation chain, you're going to add 2 more chains, and that's going to work as our turning chain, so it's not going to count as a stitch. Then you're going to yarn over, skip those 2 chains, and make a half double crochet in the 3rd chain from the hook. Then yarn over again in that same space. You're going to make a half double crochet, and that is our first increase. Okay, so once you're done with that, going to yarn over and make a half double crochet in the next chain, yarn over, make a half double crochet in the next chain, and you're going to continue making 1 half double crochet in every chain until you have 2 chains left at the end. So go ahead and do that. I'll meet you at the end of this row. Okay, so this is it at the end of my row, and I have 2 stitches left, and we're now going to make a decrease. So you're going to yarn over, then you're going to insert your hook in the next chain, pull up a loop. You'll have 3 loops on your hook, yarn over again, insert your hook in the very last chain, pull up a loop. Then you're going to have 5 loops on your hook, and then you're going to pull through all, and there we have made a decrease. For our next row, you're going to chain 2, which does not count as a stitch, turn your work. Okay, so now we have made a decrease here, and we started with an increase. So to start our second row, after chaining 2, you're going to yarn over, and you're going to insert your hook in the back loop of your first stitch. So we have 2 loops here, but you're going to go through 1 loop, which is the back loop. So you're going to insert your hook right there, pull up a loop. You have 3 loops on your hook, yarn over again, insert your hook in the next back loop, pull up a loop. This time you're going to have 5 loops on your hook, and then you're going to yarn over and pull through all. Yarn over, make a half double crochet in the back loop of the next stitch, yarn over, make a half double crochet in the back loop of the next stitch, and you're going to repeat this until you get to the end, until you have 1 stitch left. Okay, so go ahead and do that. I'll meet you at the end of the row. I'm at the end of my second row and I have one stitch left, so I'm going to yarn over and insert my hook in that very last stitch and make a half double crochet, yarn over again and make a second double crochet in the same stitch, and that completes our second row. So we started with a decrease and ended with an increase. Then for the third row, you're going to chain 2, turn your work, and in the back loop only you're going to make 1 half double crochet, yarn over. In the back loop of that same stitch, you're going to make your second half double crochet, and then you're going to make 1 half double crochet in every stitch until you have 2 stitches left. So let's meet at the end of the row and I'll show you guys one more time, and then I can do the rest off camera. I have 2 stitches left here and I'm going to make my decrease. So insert your hook. You should have 3 stitches, 3 loops on your hook, yarn over again, and for this last stitch I'm going through both loops, and then you should have 5 loops on your hook, and then pull through all. And that's the end of our row 3. Row 4, chain 2, turn your work, and you're going to repeat those 2 rows, guys. So where you ended with a decrease, you start with a decrease. Where you ended with an increase, you start with an increase on the same side. So I hope that's clear. So here we ended with a decrease and we've started with a decrease. So after that, you just make 1 half double crochet in every stitch, working in the back loops only until you have 1 stitch left, and then we're going to make an increase. So let's meet at the end of this row. So I'm working towards the end. In the very last stitch, I'm going to make an increase. So I'm going through both loops with a half double crochet, yarn over. In the same stitch, make your second half double crochet to complete the row. Chain 2, turn your work, yarn over, and in that very first stitch, make a half double crochet, make a second half double crochet in the same stitch, then make 1 half double crochet in every back loop until you have 2 stitches left. Alright, so I'm going to repeat that until I have enough rows for my bust, and then I'll be back, guys, once I have made enough rows. So I hope you've taken your own measurements and know how long you want this top to be. So I'll be back once I have the inches that I have set to make. Before I keep going with this, I wanted to shortly show you how I'm changing colors. I'm changing color after every 5 rows. So you're going to make a slip knot with your new color, and from where you left off is where you're going to attach your new color, okay? So I'm going to attach my new color here. So you're going to make your first chain to, secure that, and then in that same stitch you're going to make a decrease, because that's what I had ended with. So if you end with an increase, then you know the pattern, you start with the same thing you ended with. So I just wanted to show you that real quick. So let's keep going, and I'll be back once I have enough inches. So this is what I have, guys. My panel is 28 inches, and at this point you can try it on and see if you have enough rows. If you find it too small, add more rows. If it's too big, take out a few more rows. Okay, so we're not going to place it flat like how you're seeing in the video, and we're going to fold it. Okay, so you're going to get the one side and place it like so, and then you're going to get the other side and do the same thing. Then you're going to get your darning needle, or you can use your hook like how I'm going to be doing, and we're going to join this part together so that it can turn into, the top that we are trying to make. You're going to make a slip knot if you're using the hook like how I'm going to be doing. Then I'm going to insert my hook through both sides. Attach the yarn and chain one. Chain one again to secure that, and then we're going to be working in the front loops of both panels or both sides. So insert your hook in the front loop and insert your hook at the same time in the front loop of the other side and make a slip knot. Insert your hook in the front loop of both sides and make a slip stitch. And you're going to keep repeating that until you join the whole thing. And since we have the same number of stitches, everything should match up. Okay, so you're going to end with a slip stitch and then chain one. Then you can cut off the yarn and turn it right side out. So this is how the right side looks. The next thing we're doing is going to attach our straps here. Okay, I already marked where mine are going to be. So you need to do the same and know where you need to attach them. This is the space I left between the underarm. This is where my arm is going to sit, and I left 12 rows. And I did the same thing for the other side as well. I quickly went ahead and made my first strap, and we're going to make the second one together. So you're going to make a slip knot. Then you can take your stitch marker out and insert your hook in that same space where the stitch marker was. Then attach the yarn. Then you're going to chain one, which does not count as a stitch, and in that same space you're going to yarn over, pull up a loop. You'll have 3 loops on your hook. Yarn over, insert your hook into the same space, and this time you're going to have 5 loops on your hook. Insert your hook the 3rd time, and this time you're going to have 7 loops on your hook, and then you're going to pull through all. Then chain 1, yarn over, and then you're going to go into the next row. Insert your hook, pull up a loop, yarn over, insert your hook the 2nd time, yarn over, insert your hook the 3rd time, and you should have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 loops on your hook, and pull through all like that. Chain 1 and turn. So turn your work. Now we're going to be working in the chain 1 space. So insert your hook in that space, pull up a loop, yarn over, insert your hook into that same space, pull up a loop, yarn over, insert your hook in that same space the 3rd time, pull up a loop, and then you're going to pull through all. Chain 1, yarn over, and into that same space you're going to insert your hook, pull up a loop the 2nd time, the 3rd time, and then you're going to pull through all the loops of your hook. Chain 1, turn your work, and you're going to repeat that. Yarn over, insert your hook, yarn over, insert your hook, pull up a loop, yarn over, insert your hook, pull up a loop, pull through all. So basically that's what you're going to keep repeating until your strap is long enough, to where you want it to be. So I'm back and I have a total of 22 rows for my strap, and this is enough for me, so you may need to make less or make more depending on your size. Okay, so now we need to attach this on the other side of our top. So we're going to attach it where we have our 2nd stitch marker attached. So take out the stitch marker and insert your hook and pull through the loop. And you're going to align the strap very well with the back side of your top, and we're going to join it together. So there is no like actual stitch where you have to go through, but just make sure that, sorry about that, just make sure that everything is well stitched and it won't come out undone. So that's what I'm doing here, making sure that everything is well attached. Once everything is well stitched together, you're going to get your scissors and cut off the yarn. And since I already made my second strap, you're going to go ahead and do the same because you need 2 of them. And at this point, you're going to weave in your ends. If you want, you can stop at this point because it still looks good, or you can continue watching to the next step. So I'm using the leftover strand that I cut off from the main yarn, and I'm trying to hide it through my project, as you're seeing, and as I secure the strap even more. So I'll quickly go ahead and do this, and then I'll be back, guys, to show you how to make the other part of our top. So now we're going to make our sleeve or armhole. You're going to make a slip knot. So the off shoulder part is made separately, and then we're going to attach it. So chain 3, yarn over. In the third chain from the hook, you're going to make a half double crochet. Okay, and then you have that little space right there. Chain 2, yarn over, and in that space between the chain and the half double crochet, you're going to insert your hook and make a half double crochet. Chain 2, yarn over, go between the chain and the half double crochet and make a half double crochet, and you're going to repeat with that pattern until you have enough chain that can go around your arm. Okay, so this is going to work as our foundation chain. So keep going, and I'll be back once I have enough for my arm. So guys, I have a total of 30 loops. I'll call them loops. So we're going to join them together to create a circle, and before you join it, make sure this space is enough to fit around your arm, okay, your upper arm. So what you're going to do is make sure where we have the half double crochet is the part that we're going to work over, as I'll be showing you here. So to join, you're going to insert your hook in that first loop, and slip stitch like that, pull through the yarn. So as you can see, I have the half double crochets on top. So after that, you're going to chain up 4. The chain 4 will count as a double crochet and a chain 1. Then you're going to yarn over and make a double crochet in the next loop, chain 1, yarn over, make a double crochet in the next loop, chain 1, make a double crochet in the next loop, chain 1, make a double crochet in the next loop, making sure that you're working over the half double crochet, so the chain is the one that's at the bottom. You're going to repeat with that pattern all the way around. Alright, I'm at the end of my row and this is my last loop right here. I have already chained one and I'm going to place there a double crochet, chain one, and then you're going to slip stitch on top of, you're going to slip stitch in the third chain, like so. So that's our first mesh round, and as you can see I have the chains at the bottom. For our next row, you're going to chain 4, then you're going to turn your work and you're going to make a double crochet on top of the next double crochet. Chain 1, skip the chain 1 space and make a double crochet on top of the next double crochet, and you're going to repeat that all the way around. Alright, once you get to the end of the row, you're going to chain 1 and slip stitch in the third chain, and then you're going to repeat row 2 of our mesh pattern. So you're going to repeat that. I'm going to repeat that until I have enough rows for mine, and then I'll be back to show you guys how many rows I made. So here I'm completing my last row, which is the 7th row. So I have made a total of 7 rows for this mesh pattern, and that's my last row. For our next row, we're going to do something different. So we're going to chain 3 this time, yarn over, and in that same space where the chain is coming out of, you're going to insert your hook and make a double crochet, chain 2. In that same space, go back and make 2 more double crochets. So we have the chain is counting as our first double crochet. So we have 2 double crochets, a chain 2, and 2 more double crochets in the same space. Then you're going to chain 3, skip this next double crochet. You're going to skip 2 double crochets and make another shell in the next double crochet. So the shell is 2 double crochets, chain 2, 2 more double crochets, all in the same space. Should have something like that. Chain 3, chain 3, and then you're going to skip 2, 1, 2, and into the third you're going to make a shell. That's what you should have. Chain 3, skip 2, and into the next make a shell. And that's what you're going to repeat all the way around for this row, which is our 8th row. So go ahead and do that. I'll meet you back at the end of the row. Alright, I'm completing my row here. Once you get to the end, you're going to skip the next 2 double crochets. So you're going to chain 3, skip the next 2 double crochets, and slip stitch on top of the 3rd chain. And there you have completed the row. Then you're going to slip stitch on top of the next double crochet, then slip stitch in the chain 2 space. That brings us to start our next row. Chain 3, yarn over, and in that same space you're going to make a double crochet, chain 2, 2 more double crochets, all in the same space. And for this row, we're going to be chaining 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, yarn over, and you're going to make a shell in the chain 2 space. Alright, you're going to chain 4, 1, 2, 3, and 4, then make a shell in the chain 2 space. And for this row, that's what you're going to repeat. Chain 4 and make a shell in the chain 2 space. Did I chain 3 right there? But you have to chain 4. So what we're doing is increasing the number of chains on every row of this shell pattern. Okay, we started with a chain of 3, now we're chaining 4. So in our next row we're going to chain 5. Alright, let's meet at the end of this row. I'm at the end of my row and I have already chained 4, and I'm going to slip stitch on top of the 3rd chain to join. There we have completed it. To start our next row, we're going to slip stitch on top of the next stitch, slip stitch in the chain 2 space, and chain 3, yarn over, make a double crochet in that same space, chain 2, in that same space you're going to make 2 more double crochets. And like I said earlier, we are increasing the number of chains on each row for this shell pattern. After your first shell, you're going to chain 5, yarn over, and you're going to make a shell in the next chain 2 space, chain 5, yarn over, and you're going to make a shell in the next chain 2 space. You're going to repeat that until you get to the end of the row. Chain 5, make a shell in the next chain 2 space, and you're going to repeat that until you get to the end. I'm now at the end of my row, and I'm going to slip stitch on top of the 3rd chain, chain 1, and I'm going to change color, so I'll cut this off, leaving a long tail that I can weave in later. You don't have to change colors if you don't want to. It will still, be a nice pattern. So now I'm going to insert my hook in the chain 2 space, and I'm going to get my white color, and I'm going to make a slip knot. Then I'm going to attach it in the chain 2 space, and I'm going to keep repeating the pattern and of course increasing the number of chains for this row. So chain 3, make a double crochet in the same space, chain 2, make 2 double crochets into that same space. So for this row we're chaining 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6, yarn over, and we're going to make a shell in the next chain 2 space. So that's the pattern, guys. That's what you're going to repeat. Change colors if you have to, and I'll be back to show you guys how many rows I have made for this part, and then I'll show you what we're going to do to complete our sleeves. So I actually ended up stopping at row 4 for the shells, and this is how it looks so far, and I love how it looks. This is exactly what I was going for. So next I'm going to start with my white color, and I'm going to make a slip knot, and then we're going to work. You see where we have our chain 1, that's where we're going to attach our new color, right here in the chain 1 spaces. That's what we're going to work over. So I'm going to insert my hook like so. So you can fold it like this to see the spaces more clearly. So I'm going to attach my yarn, and I'm going to chain up 3. Then in that same space, make a double crochet, chain 2. In that same space, I'm going to make another 2 more double crochets. Then I'm going to chain 3, yarn over, skip this next space and this one, and into the next you're going to make a shell. 2 double crochets, chain 2, 2 more double crochets, all in the same space. Chain 3, skip 2 spaces, and into the next you're going to make a shell. And that's what you're going to repeat for this row. I'm at the end of my row, and I'm making my last shell. Chain 3, and I have 2 spaces left. I'm going to skip them and slip stitch on top of the 3rd chain. It doesn't matter if you have maybe 1 space left, it's totally fine. Just skip it and continue with the pattern. So I'm going back to my gray color here, So from here the pattern is the same like how we did for the upper mesh pattern that we completed right here. Okay, so I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to reattach my gray color and I'm going to keep making my shells. I think I'm going to make 3 more rows of that. Then I will complete with the white color again. So I think I'll just show you guys one more time here quickly, and then I'll do the rest off camera. So attach your yarn and chain 3, and in that same space make a double crochet, chain 2, make 2 more double crochets in that same space. So for this next row we're going to chain 4 because we started with 3. So chain 4 and make a shell in the next chain 2 space. Chain 2, 2 more doubles all in the same space. So that's the pattern, guys. Keep repeating that, increasing the number of chains on every row, and I'll meet you back here shortly. I'm back, guys, and I have made a total of 5 rows for this shell pattern here, and this is how it looks. So the next thing I'm going to do is weave in all the tails. So if you changed colors, you're going to end up with a few tails to weave in. So if you have them, go ahead and do that. And then after that, you're going to make a second sleeve, an identical one. So I'll be back to show you guys how to attach these to our top. Here I have my 2 identical sleeves, and this is how they look. I really love how they turned out. Okay, so here I have my top, and I'm going to get the sleeves. They're going to look like so once they are attached. Isn't that beautiful? All right, you're going to get your darning needle. I already have mine, and I've already inserted my yarn, and I'm going to make a knot right here. So you will want to attach these sleeves where your arm is going to sit, as you can see in the video. So I'm getting the part where we joined our first row of chains, like the foundation chain we made for the sleeve. That's the part that's going to be joined onto the top. So I'm going to skip 2 rows on the top, and I'm going to join the rest, leaving 2 more rows on the other side of the top as well. So this is how I'm going to do it. You can do this in any other way you know how to. But this was secure enough for me. There, so once we get here, I have these 2 rows, so I'm going to leave those out of work. I'm not going to join them onto the top. I'm just joining the middle section and that's it. After you have joined, you're just going to weave in the tail and securing your sleeve more as you do that. After that, I'm going to cut off the remaining yarn. And here I'm going to tie another knot. And then I'll cut off those, or you can just, secure them, weave them in, or you can just cut them off. There you have it. There we have attached our sleeve, and you're going to do the same thing with your other sleeve. This is how it looks. I already made my second sleeve and this is what it looks like. And this brings us to the end of the tutorial for today, guys. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you in my next one. Bye.